Hello Barbershop World, it's Benjamin Edwards from barbershophistory.com, and I wanted to talk with you for a few minutes about some predictions I have for this week's contest in Baltimore. I know that Sweet Adelines from all over the world are gathering in Maryland this week for the 2014-2015 Sweet Adelines Convention and Contest. I know that it is a sold-out house this year. I'm not sure exactly what the number is, but I think that, I may be wrong, but I think that the last time we sold it out was 2006 in Las Vegas, and I know there was about 10,000 plus there. I'm going to be leaving here in about 10 hours to go, so I hope to run into a bunch of y'all, and I hope you'll introduce yourselves to me. Now, every year I try to make some kind of predictions, whether it be at the regional or the international level. And doing this can be a little dangerous. I try to have friends all over the organization, and when you tell somebody that you don't think they're going to win, it's a little difficult. You don't want to step on anybody's toes, you don't want to hurt any feelings. But please understand that these are based solely on the numbers. This is on past performance and using the statistics that I collect for the website to help predict future events, based solely on trend lines and just statistics in general. So understand that this is numbers, it's not personal. But it also makes it a little fun. I try to always do my best. So 2 years ago in Denver, I got correctly 10 of the 11 top choruses predicted. And last year I got 7 out of 10 for the chorus contest. This year I'm going to try to expand it a little bit and do harmony classic as well as the quartets and the choruses. So I'm going to keep my fingers crossed I'm not too far off. Now in the harmony classic there are two divisions. Single A, which is the small chorus, and double A, which is the medium-sized chorus. This year there are 5 in each category. The single A category, the small choruses, have these 5 choruses competing. My prediction for this is that vocal dimension will take home the first placement. This is based on their past scoring and where I see them heading in the future. And I'm going to do something I don't normally do and predict a score. I'm going to predict that Vocal Dimension will score somewhere around 1232 to win the single A division. There are other very good choruses competing in this, and I would not be surprised to see them back in this competition. Honolulu Blend, for sure. Springfield Metro is one of the fastest ascending choruses in the entire organization as far as score goes. So nothing against the other choruses, but I'm going to go with Vocal Dimension here. I think that they have a clear advantage. Whether they can pull it off and execute, that's up to them. But this is what the numbers tell me. Now the double A category is going to be much more difficult to predict. All of these choruses are really tight. They're really close to each other. Alamo Metro, Top of the Rock, Grand Rapids, Tucson Desert Harmony, all of these are great groups. City of Gardens as well. This one, anybody could take it. It's wide open, and I hesitate to make a prediction. However, because I told you I will, but I'm not putting too much salt in this. I'm going to go with City of Gardens, which means that we have 2 foreign choruses for the second year in a row winning the Harmony Classic. Last year it was a Canadian chorus and maybe a Swedish chorus, I'm not sure. I know that the Sound of the Rockies, Rhythm of the Rockies, won and they scored the highest record of all time, I believe, last year. So that's my prediction. But again, I feel a lot more confident in the single A than the double A. Now everybody loves the chorus contest. It's the one contest that there are the most participants who are members of Sweet Adelines. If you're in a chorus and you're there, you're in the vast majority of those. You know, there's 45, 50 or so quartets. That means 200 competitors. But you can get 200 competitors with just 2 choruses. So everybody's engaged, everybody's invested in the chorus contest. And because of that, people, you know, it's the one that people hold most dear. This year is going to be a battle royale. Obviously, everybody knows the big names, the Rich Tones, Harbor Lights, Melodiers, as well as many others. According to my ranking system, right now, the Melodiers are the #1 chorus in the world. Rich Tones are #2. So this is the first time in a while that we've had 1 versus 2. The last time these two choruses met up, it was 2006. The Rich Tones hadn't won in the last 2 contests. The Melodiers had won 4 in a row, and the Rich Tones came out on top. But you know, the year in 2003, I believe, the Melodeers beat the Ridgetones. What's interesting is that the first time that the Ridgetones ever won a championship, the first gold, was in Baltimore as well in 1992. They both come in, this adds more drama to it, they both come into this contest having scored 748 at the regional level to get here, tied for the record last year. I think the Ridgetones won the sound category by 1 point. So we are neck and neck. Anybody could take this, as well as other courses, don't get me wrong. Those are just the biggest names that everybody's got in their minds. If the Ridgetones win, they'll tie the Melodeers for most championships. That's 6. If the Melodeers win, they'll have 7. Nobody else has even 6 yet. Beyond that, looking at some of the... Well, let me do it this way. I believe that the top 3 are easy picks. There's no chance, well, I won't say no chance, but there's almost 0 chance that these choruses don't make the finals. And those 3 are Ridgetones, Melodeers, and Harbor Lights. Those are the elite choruses in the world. The next group I'm going to say 4, 5, 6, 7. And these are in no order, just the same as the first 3, not necessarily in any order. I feel very confident that in this group, and probably towards the higher end of that 4, 5, 6, 7, is going to be Skyline. Skyline scored 683 to get to this point. They have scored an average of 681 over the previous 5 contests before the one that got them to this, Baltimore. So they are right on track with where they've been over the last decade. And because of that, they've always been 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, somewhere around there. I don't see that changing. I don't see any reason why they can't come in 3rd, 4th, 5th this year. They always have the ability to blow other people out of the water. They are one of the biggest choruses in the world, and you can't put anything past them. Also on that list, I'm going to put Song of Atlanta. Although I have to admit I'm a little concerned about their drop in score this year. They went from 708 the previous year to 645. But, you know, any chorus can have an off year at the regional level and still come back gangbusters. I believe that North Metro scored around 700 going into Denver. The Ridgetones scored 741 going into Denver, and we know what happened in Denver. So you never know. Song of Atlanta, I do expect them to be in that 4, 5, 6, 7 category. Spirit of the Gulf, also maybe I think the biggest chorus in the world. They scored 655 coming in, which is about 25 points lower than their previous few scores. I have them probably on the lower half of that 4, 5, 6, 7. And then an interesting one. We have Pride of Portland, Pride of Kentucky. Both of these groups have been placing in previous international contests around the same placement that I expect them to place this year. Although, while Pride of Kentucky is always a perennial contender in the top 5 to 10, Pride of Portland is really moved themselves up this last year. They scored 701 at the regional level to get here, which I believe is their highest score ever. It's one of, anything over 700 is going to be one of the highest scores ever. So they are riding on a high, and we'll see if that can carry over to the international stage as well. But they have the ability to raise some eyebrows this year, I think. Pride of Kentucky is about as solid as you can get. They are always, their regional scores, their international scores, they are always right there. 3, 4, 5, 6, and I expect them to be around there again. Then we have Buffalo Gateway, who is one of my favorite choruses to watch, not necessarily on stage, but just to watch their rise. They have been slowly edging up in Region 16, getting closer and closer to North Metro, and I don't see that trend slowing down. Their regional score was a little lower than it has been the past few years coming into this contest. I don't know that that's going to translate to the international stage. I would predict them to be somewhere around 6, 7, 8, which is, I think they came in 8 or 9 last time, and I expect them to do maybe as good, at least as good, if not a little bit better. So far we've named 9. In no order: Skyline, Spirit of the Gulf, Song of Atlanta, Ridgetone, Harbor Light, Melodeer, Pride of Portland, Pride of Kentucky, Buffalo Gateway. So we got 1 spot left. I have 3 choruses that I'm really watching There are three of the most exciting choruses right now in the organization, and I fully expect one of these three to take that 10th spot. Not necessarily in 10th, but to be part of the top 10. Those three are Metro Nashville. They have just consistently gotten better both at the regional and the international level. I really think that this might be a breakthrough year for them. Last year, in Denver, OK City Chorus was 2 points shy of making it to the top 10. I believe they scored 1,300, and the 10th place was 1,302, and they ended up being the mic testers. This year, I feel very certain that they're going to be at least back at that point, if not higher. Their regional score has gotten considerably better, and I don't expect them to fall off at all. And then, maybe one of the most exciting choruses, because they're so new, is the Woodland Show Chorus. And this is a Betty Clipman, and they have only one contest under their belt right now, the regional contest last year in Region 10, where they scored 663 and won the region in their first contest. And now this is a chorus that doesn't have a ton of members, but they have a handful of members, 20 to 40 or so, that were with Betty when she was the director of Houston Horizon from, 89 to 01, somewhere around there. And they, back in those days, Houston Horizon was 3rd, 4th, 5th all the time. I think they had 4 or 5 in the top 5, 4 or 5 different years placing in the top 5 at International. And those women are now back with her. And I fully expect this chorus to be right there, top 15, I would say without a doubt. But I can only choose one of these three to make my final prediction for the chorus contest. And I'm going to go with Mary Ray's OK City Chorus. I really think that they're ready to take that next step. I don't know how high they'll be in the top 10, but I'm going to go with OK City for the 10th and final spot. One more prediction I'd like to make for the international contest is I'd like you to watch for the scores when they come out. I'm going to predict a big gap between 2nd and 4th. Now, in Denver, with this same group of competitors, minus North Metro, there was a gap of 141 points between 3rd and 4th. That is a huge gap when you get to that point. And I'm going to make a prediction. That was between 3rd and 4th, but I'm going to talk about between 2nd and 4th. I'm going to guess that the second place chorus, is going to score somewhere between 215 to 245 or so points higher than the 4th place chorus. I think that that gap from 2nd to 4th is going to be huge. And I think that the 3rd place chorus is going to score closer to the 2nd than it would the 4th. I would say maybe 50 points or so difference between 2 and 3, and then a huge jump down to 4. That's something to keep an eye on. And now we talk about the quartets. Now the quartets, if you know my website, you know that I don't even have a ranking system for quartets, because I feel that they're so unpredictable. Trying to predict what 100 women on stage can do after years of experience, years of those numbers being available to research and analyze, it's easier to make a prediction when it comes to choruses. But with quartets, 4 women, any performance can be great, it can have problems, and it's too hard to predict. Plus, they come in and out, you only have a couple years of their experience to judge them on, and it makes it very difficult to do predictions. But I'm going to try it this year. This is the one I'm least confident about, but I think it's too fun not to try. So bear with me as I go through this list. I feel that I'm going to try to give you my top 15. I don't want to give you too much of a... I'll tell you who I definitely think is going to be in the top 10, and then I'm going to stay a little ambiguous around 8, 9, 10, 11, and further on. But I do think I want to give you 15 names that I think is going to make it to the top 15. First and foremost, the favorite coming into the contest. Now, last year we had Love Notes win. That eliminates them from the contest. The 3rd place group was AKA, who has retired, leaving Bling, who came in 2nd the last 2 years, with a score of 2790 and then a score last year of 2795. They are far and away, would say, the favorite to win the contest this year. And I do think that they will win the contest this year. Now, saying that, we have a huge open field below them. There are quite a few great scores from last year and the year before that have been edging further and further up each time. And giving you the, like I did with the Harbor Lights, Ridgetones, Melodiers, I will give you those that I think there's very little chance they don't make the top 10. Here's that list. Bling, of course. Luster. Heat. Finesse. Spritzer. Frenzy. Now it seems easy to predict these. I mean, they've been in the top 10 the last few years at least. A couple new ones. Heat is new, obviously, last year. So these aren't too big of a stretch. This isn't too hard of a prediction to make. Now, of course, anybody could fall out of the top 10, top 15 at any given time. But this is what I feel most confident in, that those that I just named will be in the top 10. So I've named 6 so far. That leaves 4 spots to the top 10. Let's talk about these 4. First, I'm going to suggest that Speed of Sound is going to make it to the top 10. Now, Speed of Sound, I believe, came in 9th last year. They had a great finals package and a great finals package score. Their semifinals was also a good score, but they clearly shined in the finals contest. Now, this is what I'm giving you is the top 10 for the semifinals. So it's a little more difficult to put them in so easily. I would suggest, however, that I do think that they'll make it. I don't know where they'll place, but I think there's a ton of talent in that quartet, and I really believe that they're going to make the top 10. I'm also going to choose brand new quartet, Millie Blink, which is a Swedish quartet. And if you don't know them, they scored an astronomical number, 650 something, at the regional level to win Region 32. Now this is 2 members, I believe, of 2006 champs Salt, as well as at least one of the members from Remix, a top 10 quartet, who I think retired in 11, 12, somewhere around there, 2012. But they were, you know, top 10 for years. So this is a super group of Swedes. And I really think that they, after seeing what they were able to do at the regional level, I think I'm going to go out on a limb and put them in the top 10. I think that regional score is going to be very difficult not to get them at least that far. There's too much talent there. And I'm also going to add, for my 9th pick, again, these are not in any order. My 9th pick, I'm going to go with Rio Quartets, Region 25 champs from a couple years ago. Last year, I believe they came in 14th. It's Melanie Williams and Pam Lawfer, Patty Friedemann, and Mary Ray. And I really think that they, after putting up a great score at the regional level and then at the international level, I really think that they're going to finally make it to the top 10. Finally, I say that's just their 2nd year. I think that they're going to, there's no way, let me make this prediction, there's no way they fall out of the top 15. No way. Now that leaves 1 spot left, and it's very difficult. And here's why it's difficult. Because last year, at the regional level, there were 3 quartets that scored over 620 at the regional level. 3 quartets that scored over 620. This year there were 10. There were 10 quartets that scored. Now, unfortunately, one of those quartets, Swingline, has, due to a medical emergency, are going to withdraw. They're unable to compete, which leaves 9 quartets to choose from that either won their division or won their region or came in 2nd and earned the wild card by scoring a crazy number, 620, 630, some of them 635 and so. And so it's very difficult to make a decision amongst those. Roxy, Slam, GQ, Crush, Legacy, Hijinks, Epics, Contempo, all of these groups scored 620 plus at the regional level. Roxy, I believe, scored 634 or something crazy, really high. So it's going to be very difficult to predict who's going to be in the top 15. And this is where, like I said when I started, I don't have a whole lot of confidence, but I'm going to go out on a limb and try, see how I do. I'm going to predict that last year's, I believe, 10th place group, Glow, is going to be in the top 15. I believe the Vocality, another Swedish group, is going to be in the top 15. I think that Yahtzee is going to be in the top 15. They came in 11th, I believe, last year. Roxy is going to be in the top 15. Crush and GQ is going to be in the top 15. I think they came in 16th last year. I may be wrong about that. If I had to make a guess on who's going to be that top 10 spot, I would go with either Glow or Crush. I think that either one of those groups has the ability to make it to the top 10. I just am not confident enough to put my name on it. Now, there's a couple here that are really interesting. Crush has some former queens in it, and I think that they have the ability to crush it. I think they have the ability to go out there and come in 6th. You never know. Glow, of course, Sandy Marin is a fairly new member to this group. She competed with them on the stage last year, on the international stage. Now, I think that one of the groups that has the most potential to rise the highest is GQ. Now, I know that they have a ton of followers on Facebook, and a lot of people know who they are, but if you don't, they are a group that is a former Rising Star champion from a couple years ago. They won their region both last year and this year. I think they scored 599, 598 or something last year at regional. This year they scored 620 something. A very high score. They came in, I believe, 16th at the international contest in Hawaii last year. And these girls, early 20s, unbelievable a cappella singers. All the talent in the world. My concern with them is whether or not they have fully embraced the barbershop style. They seem to be moving further and further towards that. And I really think that if everything clicks into place, they could skyrocket at any given time. I wouldn't be surprised to see them come in 10th, 11th, 12th or this year with a much higher score than they had last year. They certainly had a much higher score at the regional level, and I think that they could be a surprise to a lot of people. I'm really looking forward to them getting to the finals at some point so they can show you everything that they're able to do in a contest package set. I think that the biggest opportunity for a huge jump is going to be heat. Now, they came in 5th, I believe, last year, and with Love Notes and AKA no longer in the running, that would technically move them up to 3rd, but they have the talent to skyrocket. So I think if there's anybody in this contest at this point who could steal the show, it's heat. But at this point, I want to stress that my prediction, my money, is on Bling Quartet to wear those crowns on Friday night. It's always a pleasure to connect with as many of you as I can. My wife is going to be at rehearsal all week, so I have nothing to do but meet you. So if you see me in one of your rehearsals or walking down the hallway or getting a drink, please feel free to come over and introduce yourself. I'll be happy to chat with you. Whether you're flying or driving to convention this year, please stay safe, and I can't wait to see you in Baltimore. It's going to be a great show. See ya.